kind of builds. I'm usually really hesitant when it comes to like fire builds. You can your, which is dangerous. But then I discovered the Herakles armor, which is impervious to fire. It gives me the ability to do a lot of amazing things and really punish all kinds of fortresses, as well as dominating on the field here. It's really, really amazing. I'm Darkshire the YouTube Assassin, and I'm going to show you some outrageous fighting techniques and build with the Herakles armor. Let's get into it. Okay, so in my endgame quest of like playing different kind of builds and stuff like that, I came across the Herakles armor, and what really caught my eye was that the complete set gives you the ability where you're immune to burning. Now, I love using fire, but like I said before, I'm really nervous about it because whenever you use fire, you yourself have the tendency to catch on fire. You end up lighting everything up around you. It's just not a good scene. It really will damage you. So in finding this, I was actually blown away that I can do a fire build and really not suffer. So let's go through it. Let me show you. It's actually punishing the way that this was put together. Now, as far as the helmet goes, it comes with warrior damage, with fire damage. I added warrior damage because obviously this is a warrior build. We're going to be doing a lot of warrior attacks. And of course, the entire set, you're immune to burning, which I love. Now, I didn't add certain things that you would find on some of the newer gear, like the 99% sunburn damage prevention or anything like that. I didn't go with that here because there's no need for that sunburn damage thing. Even though, like, in some cases it'll power you up, in this case it does nothing. You will not burn. You could stand in the middle of fire and not burn. It's great. Going over to the bracers, 50% elemental buildup, which really helps our fire output. 25% warrior damage. I added 50% critical damage with warrior abilities. You'll see why. It's going to be devastating when we get into it. The harness itself, I added 50% crit damage, but it comes with 10% burning duration, which is great. It's really going to light our enemies up. And 25% warrior damage, which is also great because the more warrior damage we have, the more effective our warrior abilities are. Now going over to the mighty belt, 25% warrior damage, 100% crit damage while full health. Now, on one of the weapons, I did add the 100% damage, but 25% health. Even though I have that on it, it still counts as full health when you've got that 25% health. All right. I added 10% crit chance. We're going to need that. Going over to the greaves, another 25% warrior damage, another 20% crit chance while full health. And I added 50% burning rate because I really want these guys to like suffer. They are really going to burn, which is going to be insane. Now, as far as the weapons go, I main hand the Minotaur's Labrys. It has the warrior damage, it has 50% crit damage, -1 adrenaline cost for overpower abilities. I added weapon damage becomes fire damage. You'll see why. It lights the enemies up, and it really helps with the warrior abilities. It's just going to be sick. Going over, I also have Hades' Bident, which also has more warrior damage, more crit damage, 20% damage with Ring of Chaos ability, which I love. We're going to use Ring of Chaos. It's going to be epic. I added 50% buildup with warrior abilities, or elemental buildup with warrior abilities, which helps give us that extra firepower with the warrior abilities. I'm telling you, this thing is going to be punishing. Now, Hades' bow, it kind of went with the theme. It gave us 25% warrior damage. It gave us 40% fire damage. The basic arrows become fire arrows, and you have 100% damage, but health capped to 25%. Like I said, even though the health is capped at 25%, it still counts as full health. All right, as long as you don't go below that 25%. Now, as far as the abilities went, again, this is like my OP build, all kinds of just purposes for like studies and everything like that, and different things that I've been doing. What we want to do is you're going to just go with the certain things that like I lay out for you, okay? Now, as far as the assassin tree, we really don't need a lot from the assassin tree. Critical assassination if you're going to be sneaking up from behind, but you're not going to be doing a lot of that. Same with stealth master. One thing you may want here is hero strike. I like to go with hero strike. It helps out a lot when, you know, I'm just against the wall and I really need an extra attack to go with. All right. Unnecessary is revelation, even though I add it so that I could find, you know, certain secrets and whatnot, or things that like I missed with Icaros, if Icaros hasn't seen anything, that you could add if you have the extra points if you want. Everything else here is basically like useless. Even Death Veil, you're really not going to be doing a lot of sneaking around. This is going to be an in-your-face kind of build, which is kind of like crazy. Now, as far as the warrior tree, we are going to go with a couple of things, warrior tree. You could go with the charged heavy attack, not something that I go with. I focused mainly on the Sparta kick. I use it here and there. That's not what's really important. What's really important is right here, we have the bull charge, but it also has, you know, or bull rush is the normal thing. Go with it if that's all you have. If you have the DLCs, you definitely want the Ares bull charge. It does 400% warrior damage and it mows enemies down. With the gear that we have and the abilities we have added, it will also light them up. It is going to be disgusting. All right. Another thing you're going to want to add is second wind, especially if you have the DLC. Add Ares Last Breath. It gives you that little extra boost of health, plus it slows down time for a bit. You're going to want that as well. Another thing you're going to want right here, the Ring of Chaos. Great. Once you use it, it'll blast the enemies to like oblivion. It being that we have certain fire gear and different items added, it will also light the enemies on fire as it blasts them away. Even scarier, if you have the DLC and you added Wrath of Ares, you will put your spear into the ground. Anyone who is within that circle is going to be burning and completely messed up, slowed down. You get 250% warrior damage added, 50% more damage for each additional enemy inside the area. So if you've got like 10 enemies, that's like another 500% damage. That's going to be sick. All right, we really want that, and you'll see why. Weapons Master, Gear Master, those are no-brainers. Give a little extra to like our gear and our attacks. You know, we really want that kind of defense, especially since we're going to be squishy, and we're going to want that attack, especially since we're going to go full-on assault. Now, this shield breaker I really don't use. With all the other abilities, you really don't need to break anybody's shields. You are the shield breaker. Flaming attacks, you really don't need this. You want to actually add maybe one bit of it here, just so that you could add 3 in Fire Mastery. Fire Mastery, as you can see, your Pyromancer, the fire buildup is increased 60%. Burning duration is increased by 6 seconds. Fire damage increased by 40%. Those numbers are really going to help us out when we actually get into this fight and whatnot. And then we also want, over here, you're going to have the Battle Cry of Ares. It's going to be helpful for when, you know, like you're really, really in desperate need of just time to slow down, so that way you could attack and maybe let your second wind build up and stuff like that. You're definitely going to want that. And it's going to be one of those abilities you're really going to need. If you actually have the enhanced version, if you have, you know, the DLC and you're able to enhance this, you definitely want that enhanced version. Having that spear is no joke. You take out a ton of enemies. Plus, if you're in the middle of a bunch of them, you just explode. So they all go flying. It's actually really awesome to have. As far as the hunter stuff goes, again, you're really not going to need like a lot of the stuff here. You may want to add certain things if you have the DLC, such as Artemis's Trickery. It's actually cool when you throw a special arrow into the ground and like the enemies just explode. You're really not going to need Arrow Master because all your arrows are going to be fire. You really don't need poison or anything else like that. So, you know, that's kind of going to be unnecessary. Everything else here, it's as you deem fit. But like I said, you're really not going to use the bow a lot. You're going to be just attacking. Now, as far as the masteries go, we go for the warrior, which is just straight away what you want to have. Uh, as we go down, health restored and a successful parry, you're really not going to need. Let's see. Damage and health while in conquest battles. If you're going to be doing a lot of conquest battles, this is definitely something you're going to want to look into. All right, you're definitely going to need that. Warrior damage, that's a no-brainer. The more warrior damage you have, the better it is. Heavy bladed weapons, being that I'm using that Labris, we're going to need this extra just power. So we're definitely going to want that. Crit chance while low health and damage while low health, you may want to add just in case you actually cross that line and get some low health. It will help you out, as you're recovering or waiting for your second wind to come back. If you plan on doing a lot of like arena battles or even conquest battles, you definitely want to add some of the Athenian or Spartan soldier damage depending on where you are, who you're rooting for. All right, 20% health, being that we're going to be squishy, we definitely want to add to that. Same with total armor. It actually helps us out, so let's get some of that there. Melee resistance, being that I have 25% of my health bar, we're going to need different things like that. Fire damage, definitely. Add fire damage because you're going to need it. You're going to need all that extra damage. Armor penetration you probably want, just in case you're fighting any soldiers that have heavy armor, heavy shields. You're going to want that. All right. Damage per enemy engaged up to 25%. That actually helps out. That actually, when we're going into fortresses and conquest battles and things like that, you really do want to have that because it just helps you out, gives you that extra push of damage. Damage while low health, why not? If you hit low health by accident, again, the 25% health bar is not low health, but in the event that you do hit a low health area, you definitely want to have this just for that extra damage. Damage dealt restored as health, why not? As you're attacking, you're going to be doing a lot of damage. Health with overpower abilities, not so much. Damage with warrior abilities, yes. It's only 5% when you max it out, but still, it's going to be awesome. Depending on what you have, you're going to want to add damage to it. Sparta kick ability, as you see, I didn't add it to like my little roster there, my card on the side. Heavy charge attack, shield break, no. Bull rush ability and ring of chaos, yes, because we're going to really be utilizing that stuff, and it's going to be out of control. As far as assassin goes, there's really not a lot here that you're going to be using unless you have swords or daggers that you're using. You definitely want to invest in crit chance while full health, crit damage while full health, because hopefully we keep full health constantly. Same thing with damage while full health. You really want to have that added. Chance to ignore half damage. If you're going to be squishy, if you're worried about squishiness, you may want to add there. Elemental resistance we're not going to worry about because we're impervious to fire with the Herakles suit. So we're not going to need that. Poison damage, no. Adrenaline per hit, you may want to add that only because you're going to be doing like a lot of damage, so you may want to get that adrenaline back. You're not going with the assassination, kill, crouch speed, adrenaline spent. Damage on elites and bosses, yes. Especially if you plan on fighting in conquest battles or you know you're going to be in an area where there's like a lot of elites and bosses and whatnot, you definitely want to have this added. A lot of the assassin damage you don't want. Damage from attacking from behind is unnecessary. Hero Strike, if you added it to your roster, it does help. And everything else here, we're not going to need. As far as Hunter goes, it's going to be the same story. We're really not going to need a lot of this stuff here. Unless you use spears and staves. I do believe the Bident is either a spear or a staff, so we may need that. You do want the crit chance and the crit damage. Even though this is low, still, add it. It's only going to be helpful. I go for that on most builds, both of these. All right? Even if it's not a hunter build, even if it's just a warrior build. As we go further down, you're really not going to need anything with like the actual ranged kind of things. Ranged resistance you're going to want to add just because when you're up against archers, especially against Athenians, you're going to need that. They're going to throw arrows at you I mean, Spartans will throw spears, but not as often. They like to get in your face, so that you may need depending on who you're fighting. Elemental buildup, that is a no-brainer. This is going to be heavy with fire, so we're definitely going to need that elemental buildup. Let's go with that. As far as everything else goes, no. Okay, you're not going to need anything else really. Rain of Destruction, if you go with that, if you added that to your thing. So, as you can see, this is my card. That's the abilities you want to go with. We take a look back at the inventory and let's see what we have. Warrior damage, 380%. That's going to be sick. We go down. We check out our other stuff. Spartans, Athenians, I didn't add anything. Animals, it's whatever. Headshots, we're really not looking at. The same thing with the damage with the bows and stuff. Damage with swords, daggers, everything is 30% across the board, which is okay. Now, our critical hit chance, 30%. Critical hit damage, 275%. That's going to be kind of wild. We're really going to make use of that. We want to stay in full health, as you can see. 60% critical hit chance and 425% critical hit damage while full health. So that's going to be sick. Even if we're low health, our numbers are going to be decent, but we really, really want to stay with the full health. All right? Fire damage, 140% with a fire duration of 25 seconds. The fire buildup is 260%. That's just going to be absolutely devastating. We don't care about the poison because this isn't a poison build. Again, we're impervious to fire, so you don't have to worry about fire. Now, looking at this stuff, health bonus 20%, armor bonus 150%, melee resistance 15%, ranged resistance 23.5%, elemental resistance 15%. That elemental resistance is really going to be for poison because we're really not going to use it for fire. Again, we're impervious to fire, you know? Now, here go our adrenalines. They're decent, not really great, but it's whatever. Like I said, this is going to be an in-your-face kind of build. So once we're going to surpass everybody here because I'm going to go up to that brazier and I am not going to sabotage it. I'm going to light it up. I want everybody up in here. And as you can see, I'm impervious to fire. Not impervious to arrows and swords and spears and everything like that, but here we go. So now we'll get everybody down here. Some nice numbers just with regular attack. And you can see if I want to control it, use the Ring of Chaos. Everybody in it is basically getting damaged. On top of me just doing some wanton destruction. Explosion at the end just lights on fire and takes care of everybody else who is in there. If I want to play keep away as well, I just go with the bull rush. That way I buy myself a couple extra seconds of time getting away if I have to. I mean, the fire alone really messes with these guys. They really have, like, no shot. But as you can see, like, I'm basically controlling. They get close, anything gets out of control. I could always Ares, I could always Ring of Chaos. There's nothing really that they could do to me that's really gonna mess with me. They're really not effective. As you can see, I was in the middle of just a complete battle. Look at this mercenary already on fire. It's just heavy control. That really took no time at all to take out that entire fortress. Like, look, everybody is gone. Everybody is dead. And it just took minutes. And I lit up the brazier just so that more of them could come. And I mean, they didn't bring enough guys. Like, that was absolutely crazy. So now just imagine this on a battlefield. Imagine this in a conquest battle. You're going to be doing outstanding there as well. It's just really crazy how, like, this all goes. Who is he fighting? I mean, that assassin attack wasn't even necessary. Here come the rest of these guys. I mean, just brutal. They stand no chance. And that's like how all the fights go. It's crazy like that. Because everything is like so closed in. I mean, regular attacks are pretty outstanding. And then if I could get a bunch of people together, here we go. Look at that, I think I bumped into him and he just lit on fire. I mean, just beautiful numbers. Especially after the explosion, that was great. That guy's just gonna burn to death and drop. There we go. Go attack a boss. Couldn't survive there. Again, here we go, bull rush. I mean, took out a couple of my own guys, but everybody got taken out. Look at that, the power of just the assaults with this Labrys is just crazy. And then again, like I said, if I need extra, you know, like power or whatever, I could always just either use my second wind, or I could use the battle cry of Ares. Uh-oh.
I'm going to send you to the underworld myself.
This is up to me to knock you out.
And here we have somebody else has entered the battlefield. Come on. Let's get a bunch of people together. Come on, come on. That's what I want. Come on, get in the circle. There you go. Indiana Jones style burning. Look at play keep away. And then if I want to, just headshot. There we go. Look at that. I mean, nothing is surviving here. This is just, like I'm telling, the ultimate control and just... Ouch. That looked like it hurt. This is like the ultimate kind of control build with fire, and you're impervious to it. You basically control the battlefield. You control everything else. You just have to make sure you know when and where to use your abilities. Look at that, 2 for 1. Let's get in here. This will probably be the final. Ow! Right into him, he got burned. Stand in my circle, launch people. I mean, I cannot tell you how hilarious it actually looks to send people flying while you're standing still and whatnot. Or just running around with like weak attacks and like blasting people. Look at this. The whole time I had utter control over that. Which was like really just... So that was it. That's just what we do here. That's kind of crazy. As you saw, I was fully in control of everything, both the fortress and the battlefield here. All those attacks enhanced really gave me the advantage. And, you know, just knowing when and where to use them and like how to use everything, that's basically the key. As you can see, like 25% health, I was pretty squishy. I used my second wind when I had to, but for the most part, they really didn't stand a chance. So this is something that like I would just have like a lot of fun with, just running around from like place to place and, you know, conquest battle to conquest battle. I'm going to see what happens the weekly reset if we have something that requires those kind of things. I kind of feel like this build is really, really going to like upset like a lot of whatever I'm attacking. It's just going to be out of control. Anyway, that was it. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please like and subscribe. It helps the channel out an awful lot. And as always, thank you for watching.